So here's a question that I got recently. What do you do if you get a vision about someone? Do you tell them? And it's a full-on question, right? That could have a lot of like nuances to it. It depends. Is it your work? Did you get the vision while they were in session with you? Then I asked for, give me the words to say this and express this. And I'm always connecting to, is it of truth? So if you're having the experience and they're not a client, or you don't do the work of mediumship or delivering information, soul level information, and you're having a vision about someone maybe that you know or someone that you're acquainted with, I'd first ask your own source soul, is this true? And then I'd also ask, where's this coming from? Is it and with that intention, you'll know, like, is it coming from their soul that they need you to tell them out loud? Is it because they've been on your mind and you're worried? So is it actually a projection or an embellishment, or is it a solution to their problem because they've been on your mind? Or is the source a loved one from the other side that's aware of them and wanting to help them in this way by going through you to get a message? I mean, I could have gotten into a big back and forth question with the person that posed just the simple, if I get a vision, do I tell them? But this is my long, short answer. Yes and no. You would want to check the information is true. You would want to check the source of the information, and then you would ask soul to their soul, is it for my highest good to tell you? Do you want to know this information? If you get a yes, then you still proceed with caution, especially if it's really tricky information. Even in my work world, I would deliver tricky information with a lot of compassion and heart. And I'd ask God, how should I say this? What's the best way for me to tell them this? And so you can do that too if you're really compelled, like if you're getting a yes, this is accurate information. Yes, it's for the highest good to know. Yes, it's for my highest good to deliver. No, it's not a projection. No, it's not an embellishment on my part. I'm clearly a conduit for this information. If you're getting all that, then I would say, beam them light and love from your heart as you approach them and say, listen, I had this experience that I had about you that I want to bring up to you. Are you open to hearing? And then proceed with caution by constantly asking, what's the best way for me to deliver this? And so say exactly as you got it, what you saw, heard, felt, knew, that's delivery of the content accurately. And then see how it lands. And then if it is a tricky thing for them to hear, you can constantly tune in and say, is there more that I should say, or should I say it differently, or if they're not receiving it, what's happening? And so sometimes you get that they can't receive it, or it's not the best time for them to receive it, or you need to give them excuse to receive it. And in those situations, you say out loud to the person, listen, this might not make much sense now, but just hold on to it, take it with a grain of salt, whatever. If you find it helpful, great. If not, and you could even say, you don't have to get back to me on it. Or if you're a budding intuitive and you want to work on it, or a budding psychic in the work and you want to work on it, you could say, could you just let me know, if it would be okay with you to let me know that it was accurate and that it landed right and that it made sense to you, so you could actually say, does this make sense to you? Often if they say, yes, it makes sense to me, and then they're eager for more information will flow through you. And so it's a great way that we can help each other, right? When we are actually intermediaries for assistance. And sometimes that assistance comes from, the prayers of heaven to have it be delivered through us. And so that's my long, short answer of, should you say? Also, conversely, sometimes when I get, no, don't say, just kind of, it's not your place, they're going to get it. Then I also just still talk to their higher consciousness. And I say, listen, I have this vision. So I talk to them on the inside, not the outside, because maybe they can't hear it on the outside. And that's why I'm getting, it's not for their highest good to hear it in the physical. I talk to them psychically spiritual. We've spoken about this before. And I'll say to them, listen, I got this information, so I'm just going to deliver it to you however it needs to trickle down into your consciousness, whether a dream, an aha moment, whatever it is. I think we can always help when we get messages about other people or other things or whatever. I think we can always help. It just becomes, kind of navigating that arena of maybe the help arrives in a different way than we think. And sometimes I've also said, you've heard me say, I've also said, listen, I'm going to give you this information and hopefully I say it right so that you can hear it. Yeah, that's my answer. You got this. You got this. Good luck to you. Always with heart, compassion, love. That's all. That's all. You got this. Even the tricky stuff, it can always be delivered with love and compassion. Listen, if they adamantly refuse and say, no, that makes no sense, no, that makes no sense, then bring it back to the source of the information and say they didn't get it at all. What happened there? And then create the dialogue with that space. You know, like, did I get that wrong? Hand on heart. Did I get that wrong? Did I deliver it wrong? And then you might just hear they're not ready to hear it, or they don't want to admit it to you. It landed, but they don't want to admit it to you. You see how there's like all these little ways of communication. Welcome to my world. You got this. You got this. I know you do. Because you asked, so it's good. Okay. Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed this episode with Constance Messmer, we'd like to encourage you to continue your spiritual journey with this next episode.